salutations. Hello, my fellow starlings. It has been but a week since last I recorded, which was many months after the previous one, and here I am, back again with my one g'day, looking at you from the owie blurry side of staring at a screen too long today, and then daring to have the absolute temerity to touch mine own eye in its owinesses, and then, of course, here we are. I'm so happy to see you all and to be connecting with you, which I am. Though that got a little extreme and dramatic, which I do. I like myself a little bit of dramatics. It's what makes me a good ritualist as a witch. But we're not talking about rituals today. Not even really going to be talking about witchcraft today. And sorry for the horrible screeching sound that you just heard, and we'll hear again on this drive, because we have mild intermittent spittle. I would call this rain spittle. Yes, we have here in the lower mainland of British Columbia, very, very many different ways to describe rain. It's not just rain, it is, what kind of rain? Is it the like drizzly rain, the misty rain, the hard driving rain, the warm summer rain, the big fat rain, oh, the annoying skinny rain, the relentless rain? Yeah, you get the idea. We do rain a lot, but it's a rainforest, so it should. None of this, again, has anything to do with what I was going to talk about today, which is a follow-up to what I talked about last week. In essence, because in last week, while I was talking about steps that we can take as we go into a new year and into a new moment, really, anytime we want to do something different from where we are at, to the specific one that I did last year and this year that I want to focus on was the getting up at the same time every day, because I did for a year, January 5th, 2025 to now. Actually, technically not always the same time, but only because I changed what time that was. I started with 5:30 and then I moved it to 5, and eventually I moved it to 4:30 because reasons I am going to go into very shortly. All of this is because this is something that I strongly advocate for. Oh my God, if your life is a struggle and all over and messy, and you're tired a lot, and it's so hard to get up, I am a certified night person, certified by a psychiatrist. I am a night person. I have a sleep study to prove it, and I get up at 4:30 in the morning, and I have not ever done better than I have now. Now, do I still have some tiredness? Yes. Do I still kind of loathe mornings? Yes. Do I hurt in the mornings the same way I used to? And that one is a big, huge no. That is where the world of difference comes in. So, let me take you briefly on a jaunt. Also, while I have a moment and realize that the car beside me has rabbit ears. Not rabbit ears like you're going to reach up and, get a better reception, but like ears on top of it. Very distracting. Who knows? Maybe they'll pass by. They are rabbit ears. Oh my goodness. I got to see it in the mirror. Okay. Yes, I get up 4:30 in the morning. Sounds absolutely atrocious. I know, it does. And I started it as a desperate shot at improving how I was feeling. I have spiraled down for so many years with little blips of up and then back down I go. And I can't take it anymore. I don't have any more reserves or resilience. It needed to change. And I had used up all of the, or already taken care of it, or however you want to phrase it, the low-hanging fruit. I'd already munched that shit down. And it wasn't doing it. So I needed a bigger fruit, a bigger gun for the fruit. I don't know, that analogy did not extend well. I needed to do something different than what I had done that would have real impact. So same day, every day it was. And it had real impact. In fact, I would say that while the context of my previous experiences and the other things that I did throughout the same time frame absolutely impacted how my year went with such amazing flaring capacity, that one of the strongest, if not the strongest underpinning of that was the getting up at the same time every day. Radical shift. So me going, no. Early mornings, they hurt. Can't do it. You know what? That changes. That changes really, really fast. I would say in a week, maybe 2 at the most. It's been long enough now that it's hard for me to remember, but I do remember it was a remarkably short period of time from when I made the decision. And I mean a capital D decision. I mean one of those decisions that you know you're going to stick to it, that you are going to do it. Because it's not, as I was saying to someone else today, actually, this is not something where I'm leaving it up to morning me to decide in the moment whether or not I'm going to follow through on it. No. Morning me is an asshat when it comes to getting up. Morning me never wants to get out of bed, thank you very much. But the me I want to be does, and made that capital D decision. And so, yeah, I do not decide in the morning. It is a foregone conclusion. I am getting up at that time in the morning. Even when I was sick, I did it. Like literally, no days off. There was no point at which I did not get up. Now, when I was sick, there were a day or two where, I think there was one day where I broke my hour-and-a-half minimum rule, which is I can go back to bed, but only after I had been up for an hour-and-a-half at least, so that I would not feel like I was going back to bed, right? I'm not, there was no chance of feeling like I was just continuing the sleep that I had been in. It would feel like I was going down for a nap, not going back to bed. I think only once while I was sick was it more like an hour, but only once. And I was not really fond of doing it that way because, again, I understood on some fundamental, visceral level that I needed that window of time between when I get up and when I would allow myself to fall back asleep to really make it clear to the non-thinking part of me, so all of my somatic self, that it was a different experience. I was not simply having a brief hiatus. I was not like getting up and going to the bathroom and going back to bed. That was not it. So what happened as I did this, and I've made my capital D decision, and I am simply getting up. And if you're one of those people like me, God, morning, yeah, I, for the longest time, and very typically, felt like a pain. Like I would feel sick, discombobulated, like my soul and my body were not in alignment. One was awake, one was not. Sometimes it would be like a more jittery feeling, sometimes almost nauseous, just not okay. I did not feel good getting up early. But that was, of course, when I would sleep in on the weekends, and then I'd have to get up early, or I'd stay up ridiculously late the night before and get up at the same time and then suffer for it. That's still a bit of a truth. Less of a truth, mind you, but still a truth. If I stay up really late, I am going to feel it unpleasantly the next day. But what I found in like a week, at the most 2, but it was really fast, that feeling, that horrible, nasty, icky feeling went away. Gone. I have a version of it still, an echo of it, if you will, and I think that's I am not a morning person, this feels wrong, at a very fundamental level, is still coming a little bit into play. I wake up in the morning and there's always do I want to get up? No, of course I don't want to get up. I want to stay in bed where it's warm and I'm comfortable and my puppy is there. But also I'm ready to get up. I'm not going to fall back asleep because this is when we get up. The rhythm of it has soaked into my cells and gives me that support that means that I don't have to use willpower. It just is happening in this rather naturalistic way. And again, within 10 minutes of getting up, that any of that feeling of discombobulation, discomfort, as long as I didn't screw myself over by staying up ridiculously late the night before, as long as that's not the reason for it, it'll be gone in 5-10 minutes at the most, and I just feel normal. I don't feel tired. I don't feel like, I feel my overall malaise sense of tired. That's still a thing, but it's a different source to think. But I'm not dragging. Now, admittedly, I haven't had caffeine in 15 years now, beyond the odd chocolate experience. Okay, and the odd small sips of someone else's coffee that has probably too much cream and sugar in it. That's so good. I don't drink coffee. I don't do caffeine. I don't even do decaf because it still has caffeine. We have a very difficult, unfortunate relationship. So I do this au naturel. And I also think it's easier doing it that way versus the up-downs of caffeine. So not only am I getting up at that time of day, I am doing it without sugar, without caffeine, without anything to propel me forward. I am simply doing it and feeling honestly really decently good. It's not hard. Sure, there are the days I don't want to get up because I don't want to get up. I don't want to do things. I just want to laze about. Sure. And quite possibly, I might even do that as long as I was doing something that meant that I wasn't going to fall back asleep. The point is to be awake, not necessarily up. From this, the rest of my life fell well in line. The week plan or schedule, like my standard ideal schedule, was and is decently easy to follow because of the clarity of I'm going to be up at that time. I'm going to be doing my morning routine from 4:30 to 5:30 with all of its various pieces, sometimes in different order, oftentimes very similar order. And then I'm going to do some journaling, I'm going to do some meditation, and then comes the on commuting days and puppy daycare days, I'm going to get up, we're going to go. On work from home days and non-work days, it's a different set of things, but it's very predictable in its own way, which probably horrifies people. Oh my Lord. If you are like, I just want to be a free soul and dance my way through whatever may be, sure, go for it. Hear ya, wish I could, but that is not the life experience I'm seeking at this point in my life. There was a point. It was fun. But in order for me to get what I want now out of this life, I do need to be more disciplined, more pragmatic about how I approach things so that I actually am able to get to the things that are important and not just sidetrack into other things that end up taking longer than they should because of the way that I failed to support myself in getting things done. Does that mean that I'm actually doing them? Somewhat. I also have a very strong reading addiction as my method of avoidant, and so that's working. With that, I can tell you it's the last year and a half, I've lost 70 pounds. And there's a lot of other things that went into that, but I absolutely believe that the sleep had a strong impact there. I have been sober. I had to give up alcohol after I had surgery in 2020 because, I can get drunk really fast, the hangover really fast, but the thrill from the drinking, not so much. Bad rebalancing of the effects, so stopped doing that. But I do enjoy my cannabis, my witch's weed, and I have been completely sober since March 22nd, I believe, of 2025. And again, it was not a hard thing. It was I'm feeling better. I think that doing without the smoking will also feel even more better. So I'm going to do that and see where I land. A little bit of a tiny experiment that has simply turned into a bit of a bigger challenge at this point because I'm 2 months away from making it for a year. So hell fuck yeah, I'm going a year without smoking, and then I have to decide whether or not I am capable of smoking pot in a way that is supportive of my goals in life and my physiology, or if I am truly an addict and will lose myself into it. That's going to be an interesting journey. I have done better. My home has been clean and tidy for a year. Maybe a bit more, but very consistently. I am able to manage so much of my life. I am sick less than I was. Things are better. Every aspect of my life, even if it's not great, is better than it was before. And again, not that I say everything is because of this one thing. I did a lot of pre-work, did a lot of emotional work. I do regular therapy. Even my therapy sessions, I'm like, I'm doing really well these days. But all of it, I've put a lot of work into understanding and supporting myself over the years. I have all of that context and toolkit to support myself on it. And I think that having this, made this decision and stuck to it of getting up so consistently really turned my life around in the way that I needed it to. Strongly recommend it. Try it as a tiny experiment. Check out the previous episode if you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about, or Google Tiny Experiments, the book, online for a great way to approach changes to life. Don't make goals. Try out some tiny experiments. Really awesome. I'm going to leave you with that thought. And if you're just sitting here going, oh my God, I could never, that sounds horrible. Remember, the get up time is based upon what's the earliest you have to get up in the week, because you're just matching that. In my case, that was 5:30, and then I realized it was easier for me to actually do all of my stuff for the week or for the day before I went to work. So yeah, I'm done with my personal stuff, aside from like winding down, playing with my puppy, making my breakfast for the morning. That's all I have to do when I get home from work. Other than that, I'm done. I have other things I can do. Sometimes I do, but I do not have to, because I did it in the morning. That's why I get up as early as 4:30, so I have that additional time to really have space for me and my life before I go to work. But maybe that doesn't work for you. Maybe you want it. I was talking to someone today who the earliest they have to get up is 7 a.m. Well, then just get up at 7 a.m. every day. That doesn't sound quite so horrible. It's simply embracing the choice, making that capital D decision to try it out and see what happens. So with that, I'm going to leave you with a little extra side note this year. So that was last year that I did the whole up at, and I'm clearly keeping it going because it is doing me good. This year, going to bed at the same time every night. That's my experiment for the month of January, which is almost over. And I only missed one night, and that was a regret the next morning, let me tell you. Oh my God, going to bed at the same time. This whole natural rhythm of the body thing and the consistency. We, I think, underestimate the power of that in our modern world. All right, take great care of yourselves. I shall see you anon.